Hello, welcome to Box to Board. Now tonight what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit different. We're looking at Marvel Crisis Protocol. We've already done an unboxing for these, but we're going to look at the Asgardians. So that's Thor and Valkyrie and Loki and Hela. We're going to see how they go together. Marvel Crisis Protocol is an excellent game, but if there's one thing that can be slightly frustrating about it, it's the assembly of the minis. They are a little bit fiddly, a little bit tricky to put together, and the instructions can be not quite as tight as perhaps we'd like them to be. But what are these guys like? So actually we'll have a look and see. So following this bit through the magic of cinema or movies or YouTube, that's the one, that's what we're doing, is a montage, and a speeded up montage of putting the four models together, and yeah, we're going to follow that with some top tips and a general review of the assembly of the minis. So enjoy your montage. So first of all, let's have a look at Thor. Thor, as many, putting them together, and I'm not the best hobby-wise, to be honest. I enjoy my hobby, but I'm not awesome. I think that is a great sculpt. I really enjoyed it. There's a few little gaps, but I'm suspecting that as we paint them, it won't be a massive issue, and I'll see, because the bits where there gaps are where it's black, so I think it won't be a problem, but we'll see. I might fill up with green stuff as we work on them a little bit. In terms of assembly, I actually found him not too bad. I was a bit concerned about the wings on his helmet, and I took a bit extra time with them. And from that perspective, I think that was it. That was one that I was probably most concerned about. The other bit that does niggle me a little bit is, and we'll need a wee bit of green stuff that's just there. I don't know if you can see that, I hope you can. That sort of joint of the elbow onto the bicep. I think there's a, there's a gap there. I will work that a little bit with some green stuff, but nothing too substantial. And to be honest with you, the thing that's great about these minis is you don't get any seam lines. So you don't get any, so although they're fiddly, with a little bit of work, you don't have those seam lines to worry about, and those can really be a pain in the neck with some minis. So Thor himself, really good. The elbow's a bit of concern, a few little gaps in it, but actually nothing too substantial. Valkyrie, I didn't get if you look at the pose that I've got and that she's got, something's not quite right in there. So you can see it's not bad. There are a few little niggling criticisms with this one, just tiny little things. So for instance, well no, actually quite a substantial one to be honest with you at one point. There's an instruction missing on the sheet, just to let you know, and it's to do with her head. So her head came in 3 pieces, which was slightly frustrating to be honest. Her head, if you can imagine, comes in that shape, and then you've got one half of her braided hair coming out, and then another half of her braided hair coming out, and you stick them on. And there's no instruction for that on the sheet that I could find. I suspect there's modified instructions online, but I was going with what was in the box. So that was one niggle. The other niggle was it was a little bit fiddly. The joints for the wrist guard onto the arm. So just where the sword bearing bit joins the upper arm, it wasn't quite as defined. It didn't sort of sit into an exact place, if you like. So you had to. There's a little bit of latitude in the movement, so you have to judge that and be careful with it. But it's nothing that if you're semi-experienced you won't be able to handle. And the sculpt itself is kind of awesome. So those two in the box, they're really powerful in game. I would strongly recommend getting them. I would also get a lot of green stuff for Thor, because I think there were gaps there, and that wasn't just me. And take your time. Probably, I was trying to do it on camera, so it was a little bit different. But I probably would have redone one of her arms, her lower arms, if I hadn't done it on camera. That's just me. I probably would have done that. I do have to say it irritated me a little bit, the bit about the head, because I don't think I missed it. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss it whenever I looked. Again, I checked that a couple of times. So, but just be aware of that. So it's kind of obvious, but it shouldn't be an issue. Now, having said that, they were okay. They were, I've assembled a lot worse. Let's look at the darker side. So Loki, once again, we have a couple of little gaps, just really around the same kind of place. Actually, I have to say, just down here. His wrist again was a little bit fiddly to get the angle just right. The problem of having these sort of little joints around wrists and arms is that it's hard to get them so they have got a one direction that they sit in. So you always get a little bit of latitude. I actually thought he was pretty cool, and putting them together was really good. The bit I was worried about was the horns, and this does come back to something. I would say they are very fiddly putting in Loki's horns, but, and this is a big one, dry fit them first, and you find it becomes very clear which horn goes where on which side. So if you dry fit, that's really good. And then the foot, you have to put the instructions are okay in this, but there's sort of like a way of looking at it. The foot goes on top of the ice that's coming up. So just there, you've got the ice, and you actually put I would join those two sections, this section and this section first, and then put the foot on top if I was doing it again. I think that would be a lot better. But as a sculpt, I think he's awesome. There's a little bits that I might have to fiddle about with green stuff again, but I actually thought I quite enjoyed putting him together. One of the best experiences I've had putting anything together is this. Hela was just an absolute total joy to put together, and I was not expecting that. My expectation of her was she was going to be a nightmare, and nothing could be further from the truth. She was brilliant. So things that are quite important to pick up. Her headdress comes in two pieces. The first piece, this bit in the top, you want to, if you look carefully, I hope you can see it, there's a little bit that goes in like this, and actually on the piece, there's on the other piece of the headrest, there's a gap, so you can see that it slots in and it sits. Now, having said that, you're still going to have to make sure that it sits just right. And I think I've nearly got it. I think it's a little bit off, but it's not bad. She is, so once you get that bit, then you suddenly find yourself with the head, she just starts to really come together. You know, you look at it and just go, okay, the head looks awesome. And actually that bit's the bit that I was worried about with assembly. Then, whenever you start to put the other bits together, again, as I've said, try dry fitting first. She just comes together so well. I mean, she just is awesome. There's a little, you know, I'm going to have to do some green stuff. I can see little gaps here, but you know what? Actually, for such a dynamic pose, having a couple of bits of green stuff to do, I'm not worried about that. And actually, on the kind, I could probably get away with it just there because it's going to be dark and green. I could probably get away with it, but I'm going to green stuff a little bit just to make it work. Because she's so much fun to put together. And it's one of those models that whenever you look at it, you know, she looks incredible, and so pleased with that. I'm so pleased with that. I think she's the most fun I've had putting a model together in a long time, and relatively quick. None of them took very long. They took about 15 minutes was the shortest. And actually, I think that was either Loki or Hela. About 25 minutes in total was the longest, which was Thor. Now, maybe just because it was my first one I was putting together that evening. But as a whole, they're pretty good. No seam lines, which is great. Yes, you will have to do some work with a lot about green stuff, I think. Because the nature of this game, these are all centerpieces. You know, you're only going to have 4 models on the board. But actually, they're really good. They're really good. So, you know, they will take a lot of work. The poses are just something else, and you get that feeling that it's worth it. So, yeah, my advice would be the same as anything: dry fit it before you do anything else with it. I tend to break in a very particular kind of way. It's the way I've always done it, and it works reasonably well for me. But I must admit, probably I'm doing it the wrong way. But yeah, I've enjoyed that immensely. So there you go. And would I recommend them? Yes. In terms of hobby skill, I would say these are, let's think, they are a bit more difficult than Wild West Exodus to put together, but because they're plastic, that softens it a little bit. They are a lot easier than Malifaux and Eden, I would say. So to me, because they are plastic and because you're using polystyrene cement, which is a bit more forgiving, I think they're fine. They're absolutely fine. But they'd be a medium skill level required to assemble them, would be my reading of it. We do a lot of Marvel Crisis Protocol, and this is the first thing we've done in this style, and the first time I've actually filmed in here as well. So if you like it, please comment. If you don't want to miss any of our material on Marvel Crisis Protocol, please subscribe. It's brilliant. It would be brilliant to have you on board. Also, we are entirely independent, so everything you see here is stuff that we've purchased with our own hard-earned pence. So if, you know, we rely on you guys to keep us independent, and you know, part of that, if you want to support the channel, and get some really nice stuff is we've got a really nice set of t-shirts on Teespring, and there's a link down below. And we get a little bit of money from that we feed back into the channel. But also we've got a Patreon site now, and there's one pledge level at the minute, but there will be more coming along soon. And it would be lovely to have you on board with either of those. And so yeah, have a lovely evening. Thank you for watching, and if you've got any tips for how we can do this differently that you would like us to do, comment below. And yeah, I'm hoping to do a little bit of painting and something like this with some models in the future. I won't do it with these guys, but I'm hoping to maybe make this more of a feature. So I think it could work quite well. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.